Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. I apologise for not doing a video for over a week. I've been quite ill. I had a tooth infection, and I couldn't really do anything, to be honest. But I'm back now. So we have this video. We've got one clip to watch. It's quite a long one, but we won't watch all of it. But I really wanted to show you it because it highlights what happens when you get dyed-in-the-wool leftists who have spent their entire life on college campus, right? They end up in a situation where their worldview is so warped that you can't reach them anymore. Wokeism is becoming like a religion. Yeah, you have all the hallmarks of a religion, and not a benign religion either. I'm talking about a malignant kind of expansionist type religion, and that's what wokeism seems to be. So we have people with the capacity to get pregnant, or what for 99.9% of human history we called women. But you can't say that anymore because apparently now men can also get pregnant too. Now what you're going to see Senator Scott Hawley and an interaction with him and with a Berkeley professor of wokeism, like a proper... This person, what you're about to see, is the end result of spending your entire life in a Los Angeles, California woke bubble without any pushback, without any introduction of new ideas, any introduction of common sense, and so on and so on. This is how you end up. And of course, the eyes. You're going to know exactly what I mean. This person has leftist eyes, lefty eyes, which is a sure sign of insanity, and it's something they all seem to have. I mean, you'll see what I mean. So we'll jump into this now. If you haven't yet though, please like the video, subscribe to the Hoggcast, hit the notification bell and share the video around if you find the video informative. Have a membership option too. You can become a member of the Hoggcast. I have 8 amazing, beautiful members who honour and humble me that they support the Hoggcast in our quiet little corner of the internet. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's check this out.
I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You've referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as...
No, they're not. They're not. When she says transitioning men who are capable of pregnancy, what she's talking about is a woman, right, who's decided for whatever reason to have her, or the majority of her female organs removed, but would keep the womb because you can't physically, at this point, remove it, as far as I'm aware. But that's what she means. But just think of the absurdity of it, right? They have took a woman and they have they're trying to reimagine what a woman is. Like when they say a trans man or transitioning man, that's just a woman, right, who's had parts of her anatomy removed. Okay, it's still a woman. Right, snakes, for example, don't have arms or legs. Right, if I chop my arms and legs off, does that make me a snake? It doesn't, does it?
Non-binary people who are...
And look, this is what I mean about the eyes. All leftists have these eyes. It's a fanatic's eyes. It's the eyes of hate, rage, envy, bitterness, and it manifests on the face. And this is a so-called professor at Berkeley. So what's that, $70,000, $80,000 a year tuition to be taught by this? You will leave that university much more stupid than when you went into it. But these eyes are a dead giveaway, right? A dead giveaway of instability. That there's something wrong.
Are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing.
And there you go. It's the smug kind of. It's so hard to describe it, right? It's like the most ignorant people on earth have been given the highest positions on earth. They are the most smug people on earth, yet they know the least. They don't even know basic things. I would be surprised if this woman here, oh, and I did just assume her gender, I would be surprised if she could even tie her shoelaces up. If she could tie her shoelaces up, I would be surprised.
Recognizing that it impacts other groups.
And sorry, I know I keep interrupting, but it's just so annoying that the smuggest and most ignorant people, usually these professors, yeah, they don't know, they don't see their own hypocrisy, they don't see their own ignorance, yeah?
Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic.
And there we go. So in substitute of an intelligent answer, all you get is, you can't ask that, that's a question I can't answer, so I'm just going to call you phobic. Yeah? Textbook leftism, right? Just imagine, like, being a conservative and going to that college. Imagine how you'd be treated by this woman.
And it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5.
Jeez, look at those eyes. Right? Let's see if I can get it.
So
Look. Look. That's not a normal human being. That's not a rational person. You see, look, there's no thought processes behind the eyes. The eyes are a window not only to the soul. I mean, of course, leftists generally don't have souls, but also to the faculty, yeah, the mental processes. And look, there's no thinking. Look, she's not thinking. This is the equivalent of your desktop computer crashing, but you know, like when it kind of gets stuck and you just see the circle going around and around, right? That's what's happening here. The circle is just going around and around, and it's saying loading, 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 but it never stops finishing loading, right? That's what this is. There's no thought process here. It's just, you're phobic, must obey.
I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons have attempted suicide. So I think it's important.
Because of my line of questioning?
Because they have mental health issues. Okay? She's trying to gaslight him and strawman him in the sickest way. She's trying to assign the fact that a lot of them attempt to end themselves. She's trying to assign it to him, like it's his fault. When it's the fact that they have personality and mental issues themselves, which is exactly why they seem perfectly okay with having. They're being mutilated. Men and women are being mutilated by an eager leftist establishment, right? These people are on the same wavelength as Joseph Mengele. I mean, they are, and I hope that at some point in their life they can see what they're doing to people, right?
Because,
so we can't talk about it?
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women.
Are you?
I'm denying that a man can get pregnant. I am denying that a man can become a woman. I am denying that a woman could become a man. Now, you can identify as a woman if you're a man if you want to. You can identify as a man if you're a woman if you want to. Doesn't mean that you are one, right? It's reached the point now where you're trying to force us into society to go along with your delusions, and people have just had enough of it, right? We've just had enough. I mean, it's just, you constantly demand acceptance, tolerance, understanding, yet you offer none. You offer none of that to society. Every other group is like, what can we do for society to push society forward? You're like, what can society do for me? I want society to bend to me. Yeah.
Having pregnancies?
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think men can get pregnant.
So you're denying that trans people exist?
Men cannot get pregnant. This is a professor. My got, it's just beyond sick, isn't it?
And that leads to violence. Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you, or are they
Absolutely.
also treated like this, where
No,
they're told that they're open?
I highly doubt they're allowed to question you. What if a conservative student came into your class and disagreed with the idea that a man can give birth to a child? How would you treat him? She's straw manning. She's lying. These people are a threat to society. Having people like that teaching others is bad. It's bad news.
Opening up people to violence.
We have a good time in my class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot just in this exchange.
Absolutely.
Extraordinary.
All right, here's Senator Hawley with reaction to that fiery exchange. Senator, I guess you're transphobic, and you're, according to this professor, opening up trans people to violence by not recognizing them. At no time during that exchange.
Why does the 99.9% of society suddenly have to bow to this 0.01% of society? Why? Why do we have to cave to you and engage in your delusions? I don't understand why. You can identify as anything that you want to, but it's reached a point now where this stuff is all over the place in society, and it is damaging other people. Right? It's holding other people back. It's interfering with the very fabric of society, well, with human nature itself. Okay. So no, it's reached the point where I personally can't. I'm going to show you what you've shown me. Put it that way. Yeah.
Did I see you didn't acknowledge that there are people that are transgender?
Here is the modern Democrat Party today, Sean. It is that you have to say that men can get pregnant. And if you don't say it, then you are a bigot and you are responsible for violence.
Yeah, it's a religion. It's a religion. They need you to agree with them or you're a heretic. And obviously, like, she's accusing him of being a heretic, essentially. That's what it is. When she says you're a phobe, you're phobic this, you're phobic that, just read you're a heretic. This is heresy, right? That's what they mean. These people have subverted science and reason for a new woke religion, yeah?
I mean, that is the party line. Let's not forget who invited this witness. She was there as a Democrat witness. You didn't see a single Democrat disagree with that. In fact, they're all over social media applauding her and saying, oh, that's exactly right. It's not exactly right. It's exactly crazy, which is why voters are running screaming away from the Democrat Party. This is craziness. And I tell you, Sean, they are so out of touch with America. It is, and that's the crux of what I was saying. That they are so far out of whack, not just with America, but just everywhere on planet Earth. But they don't see it because they live on campus. These are the people who, I'm not talking about professors, I'm talking about the woke students who love their time at university so much. When they go into the workforce, they try to bring that university campus leftist vibe into the workplace. That's why you see so many companies being sabotaged or held to ransom by their own woke employees, because you keep caving to these people. They see themselves, the woke employees that go into these, leave university and go into these companies, you know why they all play up, don't you? It's going back to what I said about this, the idea of this new woke religion. They see themselves as priests of the new woke religion. Now, for a long time, there was this thing known as drudgery, which meant that priests were forbidden from partaking in drudgery, manual labour. Yeah, that's how these woke types who go into the workforce see themselves. They see themselves as the priests, the political commissars. They don't think they should sully themselves with drudgery, manual labour. That's for the peasants. They're there instead to guide everyone like a shepherd to a new woke age of enlightenment. And when the woke workforce pushes the woke force, that's what we should use that phrase, woke force. But when the workforce pushes back, they don't see that themselves as wrong because they are ordained by the holy woke ghost. So instead, they push back and antagonise their own co-workers, and you end up with this a shit show. In these companies where the woke are at war with their management, their co-workers, their customers, their clients, everyone, because they see themselves as a higher form of being, right? When in reality, leftists are probably lower than everyone else, and I mean that based purely on
ethics and morality, yeah, which they don't seem to have either of.
You can't even make this stuff up.
All right, so when she says to you and asks you a question, and I guess offering you a test, do you believe that men can get pregnant? And your answer was, no, I don't think men can get pregnant. That led her to state that that means that you deny the existence of trans people. Okay, so if she's saying that somebody was biologically born a woman, that now considers themselves a man, you acknowledge some people do that, and some people go through whatever surgery they have. But there's no biologically born male that I know of, and I like to follow the science that I'm aware of, that would be capable of, as a biological man, of bearing a child. Is that not a fact?
I think it's a fact, Sean, and you know what? But for today's Democrats,
I think it's a fact, Sean. Listen to me. A man. It's amazed that we even have to have this conversation. A man cannot get pregnant. Okay, doesn't even take. You don't need to write a thesis on it. You don't need to do an investigation or hold committees on it. Men don't get pregnant. Okay? We'll just leave it there.
Democrat leaders, it's not only not a fact, it is religion to them that you affirm that men can get pregnant, and if you don't say it, then you are responsible for violence. I mean, this is their line. By the way, Sean, these are the same people, the same Democrat leaders who want to force young women to compete against biological men in girl sports. I mean, that now we know why. If for all the parents out there, like, why in the world do all of these Democrats want to eliminate girl sports? Now you know why. They don't believe there is any such thing as a woman. Not really. And they think that if a biological man wants to claim to be a woman, hey, that's fine. And we all have to accept it, or else we're bigoted and violent. It's just crazy.
All right, so that gets into two big issues. Number one, age appropriateness in terms of what we teach our kids. This is an issue now that has come up pretty much all across the country, and that is, okay, we have to teach first graders, second graders, third graders about gender identity. I don't think that's particularly age appropriate. And the idea that...
Of course it's not, but they do it because young people like that are very impressionable. A person that young is much more able to the woke are much more able to convince them that a man can get pregnant. Like if a woke teacher told a 5-year-old that dragons exist, they would likely believe that. Like, when I was 5 or 6 years old, this is a funny story. We'll end on this, right? We'll end on this one. But when I was like, you have kindergarten in the United States. Here we call it primary school. When I was in primary school, my teacher had to phone my mother at the home phone, because I was refusing to do any work or follow any orders, because I was told by my uncle that when I would grow up to be a man, that I would be the king of North Street. Because at the time I used to live on a street called North Street, right? And I believed it. I believed that when I would become a man, I would be the king of North Street, right? So I refused to do any work. Of course, now if someone said that, I'd be like, what are you talking about? So now, do you understand now? Do you understand why they're targeting ever younger and younger people? Because they're the only people likely to believe this bullshit, you know? That's why they do it. Have you noticed that conservatives don't do this, right? You notice all of these inconsistencies between the left and the right. You notice them all the time. Once you're awake, once you're wide awake, you begin to notice these absurd inconsistencies, you know? But anyway, look, I just thought I'd show you this because it highlights the fact that how far the West has fallen, that we're even arguing over the possibility of a man getting pregnant. It is the sign of Western civilization's death, okay? And that's coming. It's going to happen, right? It's inevitable. It's going to happen, but it never even needed to, right? The only glimmer of hope you have is getting Trump back in that White House, his rightful place where he should be right now. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.